זאת הייתה טעות איומה לתקוף את ישראל.
The Israeli, you trying to say that we are innocent, we are on a peaceful land. But, they invaded and they bombed Gaza Strip 6 times, 6 wars against Gaza Strip in the last 10, 15 years only. We offered them peace. We offered them concession. We wanted to live with them. Said, if you don't want to set up a 2-state solution, okay, we accept 1-state solution. We to live together in equal footing, and have democracy, a democratic state. They refused 2-state solution, and they refused 1-state solution, and they said just this Palestine, the whole of Palestine, for the Jews only. What shall we do? Shall we clap to the Israelis, say, okay, you are the boss, and we have to accept all your bombs, all your warplanes, attacks? This land south of Gaza is my land. It is my parents' land. It is my grandparents' land for thousands and thousands of years. They are not attacking Israel. Israel occupied this land. Unfortunately, the United States is taking the Israeli side, and President Biden would like to use force against the Palestinian, not only Hamas.
We are joined by veteran Palestine journalist and editor Abdul Bari Atwan from London on the Palestinian perspective of the entire going-ons in the Middle East. Welcome to the show, sir. How justified were these Hamas attacks in the name of fighting Israeli occupation on Israeli cities, the killing of women and children included?
Well, I am surprised to characterize it that way, because actually we are under the Israeli bombardment for at least 75 years continuously, and thousands of Palestinian women and children were killed by the Israeli warplanes. We don't have warplanes. We didn't have any support from superpower United States, and the Israeli used to do what they want. I'll tell you about, for example, about Gaza Strip. Gaza Strip is 150 square miles only. About 2,200,000 actually living in that cage, which is really a blockade completely by the Israeli for the last since 2007. So personally, I was a refugee. I used to have a town. I used to have land. I used to have cattle. My family. And suddenly the Israeli came and took our land and kicked us from it. And I ended in a tent in the Gaza Strip. And, about 700 Palestinians like me ended the same place or other places. So the Israeli now, what they are doing, they are bombing Gaza now. And the Israeli minister of energy said that we will cut off electricity, we will cut water, we will bomb any actually help coming to the Palestinian through Egypt, through the Egyptian land border. So how can you deal with an enemy like this? And they said, we want to move or cancel Gaza from the map. The Hamas should be prosecuted, everybody. But it is not Hamas. It is also all the Palestinians are fighting. They are entitled to fight the occupation. You in India, you fought the occupation by all means, the British occupation. So also the French, Charles de Gaulle fought the Nazi occupation. George Washington of United States fight the British occupation. So why we cannot, as a Palestinian, fight? I'll tell you another thing, please, and I will let you ask at the second question. Look, the Israeli, the American, the European came to the PLO and said to the PLO, look, stop fighting. Come to us. We will give you a state. The Palestinians believed them, and the PLO signed Oslo Agreement and accepted all UN Security Council resolutions and gave up at least 75 to 80% of historical Palestine, hoping to have a state. 30 years of negotiation. Until now, we were not managed to have a single centimeters of our territories, or that's the future independent Palestinian state. What was our reward? Our reward was 800,000 settlers in the West Bank, which is supposed to be the coming or the independent Palestinian state. How can you deal with occupation like this? Yeah, throw them with flowers, throw them with rice, for example, as a symbol
but
of
tell me
happiness.
something, sir. No, I sorry, I'll just stop you there. And you make a point that this was a retaliation against Israeli attacks over the last 75 years. However, having said that, two wrongs do not really make a right. I understand a nation state fighting another nation state in a fight for justice, but this was, why drag women and children into it?
That's a very good question. You know, it is not the first war. Hamas was established in 1978. Before that, there is nothing called Hamas, and even they never had or missiles or any kind. Just maybe weapons, maybe guns. That's all. While the Israeli got F-15, F-16, got missiles, got American help, American aid, European support, everything. So Hamas just knew. But before Hamas, there were a lot of Israeli atrocities, and Israeli was occupying Gaza Strip and occupying the West Bank. So Hamas came very late. This is one thing. Second thing, the Israeli, you trying to say that we are innocent, we are on a peaceful land. But, you know, they invaded and they bombed Gaza Strip 6 times, 6 wars against Gaza Strip in the last 10, 15 years only. So they are not innocent at all. So the people are suffering. For example, in 2014, the Israeli bombed Gaza, 3,000 people killed, 750 of them children and women. So the Israeli now talking about children and not about women. So it's really ridiculous. So the Israeli, we offered them peace. We offered them concession. We wanted to live with them. Said, if you don't want to set up a 2-state solution, okay, we accept 1-state solution. To live together on equal footing, you know, and have democracy, a democratic state. They refused. They refused 2-state solution, and they refused 1-state solution, and they said just this Palestine, the whole of Palestine, for the Jews only. This is their new creed. So how can you deal with such occupation, with such enemy? Now they are talking about children.
You know, from what I hear you saying, this is about an eye for an eye. But we all have heard the saying that an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. We know that how Israel reacts to even rockets fired into, they react very strongly. So when Hamas did this act, were they aware? And I'm asking you as an independent expert who probably knows Hamas, understands what they think. Do you believe that they knew that they are going to get? This is the kind of response that Israel is going to give. The kind of bombing, the kind of sort of blanket bombing that has happened over Gaza over the last several days because of that one act of Hamas, of sending in the fighters inside Israel to create terror.
You know, we are not actually seeking eye for eye theory. No, you know, we turn to peace. Actually, we offered peace to the Israeli. You know, we said to them, look, let us have 2-state solution, and we signed the agreement with them, and it was sponsored by United Nations.
That was in the past, sir. The peace. This is not that. This is sending fighters inside Israel and abducting their women and children and literally killing thousands of people or hundreds of people. That's not really peace, isn't it?
But they are doing worse than that to us. They are using F-15 and F-16 and bombed us for the last 75 years. They are not just with their conflict started just 5 days ago. The conflict is there for at least 75 years. And why the conflict is continued? Because, Israel never apply the international legality, UN Security Council resolutions, Oslo Agreement, Camp David agreements. We have several agreements with them, but they never accepted it. No, we want peace, and still we want peace. We love peace. But, people are frustrated when you are under blockade for at least, 10, 17 years, nothing at all. And the Israeli used to count calories, say, okay, men only should have 2,200 calories, women 2,000 calories. And I'm saying that it is documented in order to keep people just at the edge of life. What kind of enemy is this? So Hamas or other Palestinian resistance organization, it is not only Hamas, it is other resistance, other factions there. And they decided to fight. They decided to say to the Israeli, look, you have to end this blockade. We are starving. We are dying.
Sir, but the entire world has rallied behind Israel. And Israel, we all know, has more military might than Palestine or Hamas and the resistance groups within Palestine. So, but the entire world is also rallied behind Israel. So this attack on Israel, does it not weaken the Palestinian cause for an independent state?
We have to do everything, literally everything, legal and international, according to the international laws, including the resistance, in order to gain our rights. If peace failed to do so, if signed peaceful treaties didn't guide us to independent state, what shall we do? Shall we clap to the Israelis, say, okay, you are the boss, and we have to accept all your bombs, all your warplanes attacks? So we have to be, honestly, we have to look at those people.
I talked about the world rallying behind Israel at this moment, but how do you feel when a majority of Muslim nations, except maybe Iran and Qatar, do not appear very supportive of the Hamas attack on Israel? Is it because the attack was so heinous that even supporters of Hamas, like Turkey, for instance, are not openly condoning the attack?
Why this war happening? Simply because the Israeli right-wing settlers attacked Al-Aqsa Mosque. What is Al-Aqsa Mosque? That is the third holiest mosque in the Muslim tradition and the Muslim belief and creeds. So why the Israeli are storming this mosque and actually preventing people from praying on their mosque? If, for example, somebody attacked your temples and destroy it and prevented faithful people from praying at this temple, will you throw them with flowers or you fight them? So that you're fighting them. So that's, it is a very holy place. And at the top, this is on the top of this humiliation, and the top of settlements, grabbing lands and attacking people. And, those settlers are armed to their teeth, So you cannot survive this. So in the end, you have to blow up and you have to fight. You have to say, okay, I am going to die. I will die while fighting for my rights. People,
don't you find it ironical, sir? Religion, which is supposed to bring us peace, is actually making us fight and bringing death and violence all around us. What do you have to say to that?
No, this is not accurate. I'll tell you something. We lived with Jews for, thousands of years. We lived with them in Spain. We lived with them in Palestine. We lived with them in Iraq, in Libya, in Egypt. We used to be living in peace and respect them. They were Jewish ministers in Iraq cabinet, in Egyptian cabinet, and they used to be a very successful businessman. But when the problem started when they established Israel in our territories. And 75 years, we are begging United Nations, begging the international legality, international organization. Please, please, we are starving. Please, we are humiliated. Please, we are living in refugee camps. 75 years of living in refugee camps. How long can we stay there? How long can we be humiliated by the Israeli who are supported by the West and by United States? United States sent aircraft carriers to Gaza Strip. Gaza? Is Gaza a superpower? People, what they have people there? People are starving there.
I hear you, and I'm going to move forward now, and I'm going to talk about what next. Gaza is under siege right now. There have been almost 6 days of incessant bombing. The war is on. There are attacks from every side. A ground invasion also seems to be on the cards. What will Hamas do now?
Now, Israel is going to storm Gaza Strip. And they are saying that we will wipe Gaza from the map completely. We will destroy Hamas. Israel who is planning to actually attack Gaza or to reoccupy Gaza. So this is the problem. How many people will be killed from the Palestinian, from the Gazan, for example? Now we have 2,000 killed, about 3,000 injured. And I know, my family, my relatives, actually, they are in schools and hospitals and mosques and everywhere. Even there is no medicine to treat the injured. There is no shelters to protect those people. While the Israeli, they got shelters, they got America, they got everything. And we got absolutely nothing. And people even starve. Imagine that, and when they say
which is what I was asking you, sir. When you know that Israel always reacts very, very aggressively to even small rockets launched into the airspace. What did people who mounted this attack on Israel, what did Hamas think when they launched this attack on Israel? Did they just think that they'll go and do this and life will come back to normal, and that they will Israel will say, okay, you've done this, and so okay, now we will sit down and have a conversation and give you what you're demanding? What were they expecting?
Let me say that. Do you think Hamas is United States or Soviet Union or Russia? Give me one Israeli was killed by Hamas rocket. It is out of desperation. People, desperate. They don't know. They don't have this power. Nobody is giving them weapons. Nobody. And this missile is absolutely useless. But they have to throw it, to launch it against the Israeli in order to at least frighten them, hoping that, they will be frightened and they will stop attacks. It is not a ballistic missiles, for example. It is not American manufactured or British manufactured missiles. It is very primitive missiles. And never killed any Israeli until now.
I don't understand Hamas fighters entering Israel, infiltrating Israel, and killing women and children and killing innocent people. I don't understand that. Having said that, I take your point of view that, okay, they did this, so we did this. But which is what I'm saying. You did this. What did you expect? What did Hamas expect? What was the thinking that they will go and say that, okay, it's fine, come, we've done a lot of wrong to you, and therefore now you're coming and killing our people, so it's all right.
Just while we are talking, Israel bombed Damascus airport and bombed Aleppo airport and bombing also Gaza continuously. So you are go to talk to them, say why they are bombing Gaza. Okay, why they don't talk? Why
I was listening to the Israeli Prime Minister. I was listening to the Israeli Prime Minister's, the Israeli President's press conference. Sorry, not Prime Minister's press conference earlier in the day, and he said, "What do you expect? You come and kill our people. You enter our territory, which they call their territory, but as of now, as per UN." And you enter our territory, you kill our people, you wreak havoc, you create terror inside Israel, you go back. What do you expect us to do? Sit back. We will retaliate.
It is very easy. It is very simple. If the Israeli applied Oslo agreement, if they actually applied the international legality and set up let the Palestinians have their own independent state. We wouldn't have this. But why the Palestinians are doing this simply, and this is not Hamas, it is all Palestinian. It is not just Hamas.
What is the chance for peace now?
The chance of peace is great. If United States, which sent actually these aircraft carriers to help the Israeli, if they are, honest broker, if they are actually wise people, they should negotiate. They should actually call both sides to negotiating table and reach a solution, agreement, or agreement to implement the agreements, which was sponsored by United States on the White House lawns there. So it is very simple. But unfortunately, the United States is taking the Israeli side, and President Biden would like to use force against the Palestinian, not only Hamas. And the same thing, Europeans are taking the Israeli side. When the Europe, or the so-called civilized world, when the democratic world, liberal world, when they decide to behave as honest broker and treat everybody in equal footing, there will be peace in the Middle East.